You don't have a hiring problem, you have a winter problem. Every year you lose good people, and every year you file it under the same heading, the labor market. Nobody's loyal anymore. And my personal favorite, this generation just doesn't want to work. I want to show you something else. A lot of the turnover you're blaming on the market is built into how the job is actually structured. And because it was built, it can be rebuilt. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, and wherever you happen to be right now. I'm Mike Voories, here to help you build a stronger team. Today, we're talking about the off-season income gap, the paycheck that shrinks or stops when the season ends. What looks like a hiring problem is often a winter income problem. Good employees leave because they need predictable income, and strong candidates stay away because they can't build a life around uncertainty. That's a structural problem, which means it's fixable. And the time to start fixing it is while it's still summer, not in October when your best person may already be talking to somebody else. It's math. It's not disloyalty. So let's start by putting you in someone else's boots. I want you to picture your best crew leader, the person who knows your routes cold, who the rest of the team listens to, and who you'd really hate to lose. They love their work. They're good at it. And they're probably not looking for a reason to leave. Now picture their life outside of the truck. There's a mortgage or rent, maybe a family, a car payment, bills that arrive every month, whether the grass is growing or not, whether it snows or not. Their bills don't take winter off, right? So when your season winds down and their hours dry up, they aren't sitting at home thinking about how much they love the work. They're doing math. And here's the part that should sting a little. At the exact moment the paycheck from your company goes quiet, somebody else's gets loud. As your season winds down, delivery companies and warehouses ramp up for the holidays. Your slow season is their busy season. They're advertising steady, year-round, indoor work right when your employees need predictability most. So they take it. When they do, understand what it is. It's not betrayal. It isn't disloyalty. It's arithmetic. A person with real obligations chooses predictable income over a job that might disappear for 3 months. Sit with that for a second. Because it changes how you respond. If you label the problem disloyalty, you stop looking for something you can change. If it's math, you can change the math. And there's a second cost underneath the turnover. It's not only about who leaves, right? It's about who applies in the first place. People with strong experience and real options can be reluctant to gamble on a job that offers full, predictable income for only part of the year. Your applicant pool can become concentrated with people who can tolerate short-term uncertainty, but who may also leave as soon as steadier work appears. So solving winter doesn't only help you retain people, it changes who you can honestly recruit. How am I supposed to pay them all winter? Now I can already hear some of you. That's great, Mike, but how am I supposed to keep a full crew on payroll all winter on revenue I can't predict without going broke? And that's a fair question. I'm not going to pretend the answer is easy. Anybody who tells you to simply stop laying people off and promises it'll all work out has never had to make payroll in February with no work on the board. I spent 30 years in the snow and ice management industry. I know what February payroll feels like. Snow might come or it might not. The cost of carrying people through a slow stretch is real. This is some of the hardest math you do all year. But acknowledging the constraint is different from surrendering to it. That's just the industry, right? That thinking can't be where the conversation ends. Between guaranteeing a full winter and doing absolutely nothing, there are more options than most owners use. Take a simple example, and these are illustrative numbers, but the math is the point. Suppose a crew leader normally earns $1,000 a week. A 12-week shutdown creates a $12,000 income gap. Maybe you can't close all of it, but if a mix of shop work, project work, and guaranteed hours covers maybe even $500 a week for 8 weeks, you've reduced that gap by $4,000. You haven't made winter perfect, but you may have changed the decision that that employee has to make. And if you tell them about the plan early enough, you've replaced some of that uncertainty with something they can count on. So here's 4 ways to change the winter math. There isn't one answer for every business. Think of these as 4 different levers. Your job is to find the first one your operation can actually move. First, create flexible off-season work. Start with work you already need done. Equipment rebuilds, shop organization, fleet maintenance, training, preparing trucks and equipment before the spring rush. Then look at billable services that sit next to the work you already perform. Holiday lighting is one. Dormant pruning is another. Your market may offer others. The key is flexibility. Choose work your team can pause when a snowstorm comes in. Not work so time sensitive that it forces you to choose between the snowplow and the customer. Cross-training does more than fill hours. It makes good employees more valuable, more versatile, and more invested in the operation. Someone who can contribute in 3 parts of the business is less likely to spend the winter looking for an exit. A lot of companies seem to struggle finding time to train. Well, here you go. Number 2, make winter revenue more predictable. If you're in the snow and ice management business, look at how much of your book still depends on per occurrence billing. When you only get paid if it snows, a light winter hits revenue while your trucks, equipment, materials, and readiness still cost money. That readiness has value. Where the market allows it, move more accounts towards seasonal, all-inclusive, or some kind of minimum-based agreement. You may not convert every customer, and you won't do it overnight, but each account that pays for readiness, not only when it snows, takes a little of the weather's grip off your payroll. Predictable revenue creates more room for predictable pay. Number 3, establish a minimum people can count on. This is the boldest lever because it goes directly at the root of the problem. Some companies guarantee a floor or a minimum of winter hours. Others smooth compensation across the year. The right structure depends on the operation and should be modeled with the people who handle your payroll and finances. The principle, though, is simple. You might not have to guarantee a perfect winter to change an employee's decision. A realistic minimum is better than nothing. The difference between you're on your own until spring and here's what we can count on, it may be the difference between someone staying and someone leaving. Number 4, communicate the plan early. This one costs the least and too many owners still miss it. Your people need to know what is guaranteed, what is likely, and what happens if the snow doesn't come. Don't leave them guessing until the season ends. Uncertainty makes people take calls they might otherwise ignore. Be honest. If you can only guarantee part of the gap, say so. If the plan depends on project work or winter contracts, explain that. A partial plan communicated early is more valuable than a potentially decent winter nobody can see coming. The goal is not to make promises you can't keep. The goal is to replace avoidable uncertainty with credible information. Start now and start with one lever. Every one of these levers takes lead time. You can't build a holiday lighting service in November. You can't line up winter project work the week the leaves drop, right? You can't restructure your snow agreements after the contracts are already signed. And you can't retain someone after they've accepted the other job. The window to solve a winter problem is while it's still warm out. And this is not all or nothing. Take a 3-month gap down to a few weeks, and that changes the math. Adding one predictable project changes it. Establishing even a modest or minimum guarantee changes it. Giving someone an honest plan before fall changes it. Start small, but don't stop small. Close part of the gap this year and more of it next. Add one service this season and improve the contract mix the next. The owners who win don't solve winter in one move. They chip away at the uncertainty until it stops costing them their best people. Solving winter improves recruiting too. Now let's come back to the hiring problem. What you offer decides who you attract. Predictable income and a credible winter plan aren't only retention tools, they make the job viable for experienced people who have options and need something dependable. Solve more of your winter problem and you can recruit differently. You can tell a candidate with confidence what the full year looks like, not just what they'll earn during the busy season. And it cuts the other way too. The companies that never address winter may be training your next great hire for you. Their best people may love the work, but be tired of spending every off-season guessing. And you don't always have to win a bidding war to recruit somebody like that. You may only need to offer what their current job never has, a winter plan that they can trust. I've got a challenge for you, and here's your homework. And the timing is the point, right? Pick the one or two people you'd hate most to lose this winter. Just one or two. Then answer this question honestly. What does their winter actually look like this year? And do they know it? If you can't answer that, you just found your project. Choose one lever and start building it while it's still warm enough to build. You're not trying to make winter perfect in one move. You're trying to give a good person a reason to stay that's stronger than the reason to go. Hey, if you want help building a winter retention plan around your operation, use the link in the show notes to book a workforce retention call with BR1. We'll help you identify a strategy that works for your business and unique situation. Until next time, keep building your stronger team.